Good morning and welcome to the True North Copper Investor webinar. Thank you for joining us, and please be aware we have all attendees in listen-only mode. We'll have a Q&A session at the end of the webinar, so if you would like to ask a question directly to the company, please use the raise hand function within Zoom. Alternatively, you can enter it in the Q&A panel within Zoom as well. I will now hand over to True North Managing Director Marty Costello, who is joined by Global Ore Discovery Principal Geoscientist Daryl Nunn. Over to you, Marty.
Thanks, Benny. And look, a big welcome to everyone today. And look, thanks very much taking the time out of your busy Friday to learn a little bit about our really exciting news hitting the press yesterday. As Benny said, I've got one of our key gurus with us, our geological gurus. He's named Daryl Nunn. He's a senior member of our discovery team and works with us as part of the Global Ore Discovery and TNC partnership. So Daryl, I've brought him along to answer give you some more technical information about what this drilling assay means. But I'm just going to share my screen to help me talk to. I'll spend 2 minutes, a bit of an overview of where the Mount Oxide. Obviously, like I said, and I've spoke about this previously, I want you to consider our business in two arms. Cloncurry, we're producing copper at the moment. We're at a run rate of 10 to 15,000 tonnes of copper per annum. We're producing two copper products, copper sulfate crystal and concentrate. And we've got a 7-year mine life. We think we're going to extend well past 10 years with the resources that we're aware of, and we're drilling further drilling out there at the moment as well. Mount Oxide, on the other hand, is our super exciting exploration and development project. It's been locked up for over 40 years. It was the previous company's next mine. So what we've been doing over the last couple of months since we've acquired it is we've had a drill rig working out there 24 hours a day, drilling a number of holes. And I guess the release yesterday is the assay of the first hole that of the core of the first hole we've drilled. The main point about that is what we're finding with our exploration to date, and I'll get Daryl to talk about it more in a second, is we're finding a lot more resource extension, and we're starting to see what we believe deeper extensions, which may lead to further discoveries, and that gives us great excitement because as it is. The Vero resource at the moment is already 230,000 tonnes of contained copper metal, with a really large separate cobalt resource of 9.1 million tonnes at 0.23% cobalt. We think we can substantially upgrade that resource with a focused effort of drilling, which is what we're doing. We've got lots of core on the deck, and we're really super excited to bring this forward. So, Daryl, without further ado, Daryl, do you mind running the guys through some further information about the drill hole and what that means to our program?
Thanks, Marty. Just move on. I guess all the people on this call have probably seen the spectacular results that were announced by TNC yesterday. I think the highlight, 66.5 metre at around about 4.95% copper, was a really great result. We also had a couple of other results in there that were really important and interesting. And the 11 metres at 3.06% was one of the other key intercepts, and then another 8.5 metres at about 6.1% further up the hole, higher in the hole. So some really great intercepts that came out of this hole, not just that headlining intercept. If we just move on to the next slide, Marty. Thank you. So just looking at this cross section here through the hole at MOXD 217, which is the hole that was announced yesterday. What we can see here is the intercepts on the cross section here. The two key ones that I'll talk about here are the 20 meters at 0.6, which is within that 66.5 meter intercept, and the intercept further down hole, the 11 meters at 3.06%. Probably the key thing is that this hole was meant to be a infill and extension hole of the mineralization at Vero, particularly the copper ore body. What we found is that at the 20.6 meter intercept there at around about 10.51% copper, the historic hole below that was not assayed previously. So what we can see here is that we have now identified an area of a large zone of high-grade copper mineralization that is open to depth, probably around about 90 meters between that and the next hole. So really key potential there to expand the high-grade part of the resource. And then the deeper intersection of 11 meters at 3 is about 35 meters up dip from the hole below it, 168. And again, that seems to be open at least 90 meters further up dip. So I think it's key that we've not only infilled and grown some confidence in the resource from the historical exploration, but we're also identifying key extensions to mineralization within the deposit. We move on to the next slide. Really spectacular looking core, great looking mineralization, super high grades in individual intercepts that are over 30% copper. What we see here is that a lot of the mineralization is associated with really strong brecciation. That brecciation is indicating to us that we've got a really strong system, lots of energy in it, lots of fluid flow, and is really exciting for us in terms of being able to explore out from this intersect. But also it's giving us some understanding of what are the controls of this kind of breccia mineralization. We're really starting to learn on how to target for more of this. We've got 3 other holes that are on the racks at the moment, where we're seeing the similar textures, and we're seeing controls of that mineralization that we can now start to extrapolate out from the known and extend either a long strike or down dip. Another thing that we're seeing is that we're seeing a mineral zonation pattern in here. So we see the copper mineral species that are changing with depth. That is indicating to us where we can see the fluid flow paths. So we can start to see where we might target at depth for much higher grade or better styles and better mineralization at depth. So we've learned a lot here with the drilling. This one hole has taught us a lot about where to go next. And I think we're really excited to be able to keep drilling here. And, we're seeing some good visual mineralization that we're in the holes that we're currently doing, and hope to get those assay results out as soon as possible.
Yeah, thanks, Daz. Thank you very much, mate. Look, just closing, I guess I just wanted to touch on what this means for the company and what shareholders and stakeholders should expect from us. Look, we like I said earlier, we've got a drill rig going 24 hours a day. That's spitting out a lot of core. As Daz alluded to, we're quite the visual mineralization that we're seeing on the core rack is very, very encouraging. So we're currently cutting that core. As you can imagine, there's lots of it, and we're cutting that core. So we're trying to get, as soon as we get those results from the lab, sending those to the lab, we'll be announcing that. And I guess shareholders should expect sort of announcements sort of regularly, at least once a month from now until sort of Christmas, until we stand the drill rig down for the wet season. As well as that, we're also recommencing our scoping work. We've been doing that since we acquired the project. So look, I wouldn't be surprised more information being released on our scoping activities we're super excited to bring this and take everyone on the journey of what is for us a very unique and exciting project, which we believe will transform True North Copper, the business as a whole. And with that, Ben, I might send that back to yourself, mate, if there's any questions.
Sure, thank you, Marty and Daryl, for that great summary of yesterday's announcement and further detail around the company, of course. Before we move into the Q&A, firstly, a reminder, if you would like to ask a question directly to the company, please use the raise hand function within Zoom. Otherwise, you can also enter it into the Q&A panel within Zoom as well. The first question we do have, it comes from Andrew Oswald of Bell Potter. Andrew asks, what was the aim of hole 217 as part of this broader diamond drilling program? And in addition to that, did it meet expectations, and what did it highlight from an exploration perspective for the company?
Darren, I might get you to answer this one.
So as I alluded to earlier, it was an infill and extension hole. But you know, the key things that outcomes from it that I think we learned a lot, but what that 20 meters at above 10% copper, we weren't expecting to hit. We've shown now that high grade zone is, you know, has potential to extend to depth. So we think it's not only have we confirmed the resource, we've got extensions coming out of the drilling that we're doing to date.
Okay, thanks, Daryl. The next question, which has come through, what do the results of the initial hole tell you about the potential for additional discoveries related to the Vero deposit, both from this current program and upcoming programs which True North might plan?
I think the key things are that we're really starting to look at this as a mineral system and be part of that mineral system. That mineral system is much larger than just the Vero deposit. We're really starting to understand the zoning patterns and controls on the mineralization, those breccias, and seeing those mineralogical variations. So we're starting to know where to go and how to target, not only within Vero, but also to extend that out into the, you know, the 6 kilometer long trend that is within the TNC ground that is prospective for more styles of copper mineralization.
Okay, thanks for that one, Daryl. We've received a few questions. This one comes from Sam Lee. How many meters of drilling are pending, and how many more meters will the company drill at Mount Oxide for the rest of the year?
I might answer that one. Look, we've currently got approximately 1,500 meters of diamond core on the rack that is currently being processed through in a methodical way, logging as well as cutting for assay. That's on the rack. In terms of the program going forward, we're now producing cash in Cloncurry. Now that cash is funding the continuation of our very exciting exploration program at Mount Oxide. So we're constantly modifying with every hole. We're reevaluating our program and modifying to make improvements to that program. From a board perspective, we'd like to keep going, obviously, while the conditions are conducive to continue our drilling. We don't see the drill rig stopping pre-November this year.
Well, thanks, Marty. There was a question then from Andrew Martin actually around the production. So can the cash flow from copper sulfate production adequately fund the drilling program? Did you cover that in enough detail or anything to add in that regard?
Yeah, look, I will touch on that. Thanks, Ben. Look, it will. The announcement was pretty pivotal for us a couple of weeks ago about getting into first production of copper sulfate. What that means for us as a business is we will be able to sustain ourselves in terms of generating cash to fund the business and not relying on continual raises, which is something that I mandated to all my shareholders previously. I don't want to be one of those companies that rely on repeated raises to fund the business. So look, that's where we're headed. The every day we're getting higher concentrations of copper in our PLS, which is our pregnant solution pond, and our copper sulfate production will increase. It increases on a sort of daily basis. We have a really great agreement in place. We have an offtake agreement in place where we get paid within 48 hours of producing that product on site, and we get payment in full. So at a premium to London Metal Exchange spot prices. So it's a great contract to assist us in terms of providing that meaningful cash flows and allowing us to sustain our exploration discovery efforts at Mount Oxide.
Thanks, Marty. This one might be for you, Daryl, from Carlo Chiodo. Why wasn't the section of the historical drill hole down dip from this high grade of this hole previously assayed?
The down dip projection of that mineralization was not assayed. It was partially used for some metallurgical work, but the previous explorers did not assay prior to doing that metallurgical work. They terminated the chute within the block model, so you can see in the sections that are available in the news release that the mineralization, the resource, was actually constrained prior to that hole.
Thanks, Daryl. Just to backtrack, I guess, this question from James Broomhead. How much money was raised pre-IPO, and what was the price it raised at?
Sure. So look, we did a raise in February. The company True North Copper did a raise in February for $10 million. That money was raised at a price of 14 cents. That was aimed at providing the necessary capital to bring us into production, which basically, we've achieved that business plan. The money that we raised as part of the DEX merger, the Duke Exploration merger, was all about and purely focused on funding the acquisition of Mount Oxide. So I guess, as you can see, we're not one of those companies that are raising lots and lots of capital and pretending to be, the bank for shareholders. We're raising the right amount of capital to ensure the business can succeed, as well as prosper with generating itself cash flow.
Okay, the next question, Philip Whitmont asks, what are the estimated total costs, including exploration and admin costs for True North for this quarter, this quarter and December quarter?
Look, we are looking to, for our next quarterly, we're looking to provide forward price, cost and production guidance. So we'll be able to report those numbers in the next quarterly coming for end of September.
Sure, and one which looks suited for yourself, Daryl. What angle was the hole drilled at, please?
The angle was drilled at around about 60 degrees. Yeah.
Sure, and this one looks like one of yours too. Is the chalcocite secondary or primary?
So up in the hole, the earlier mineralization, chalcocite mineralization, is interpreted to be supergene, but as we go down, we're actually seeing primary hypergene chalcocite, which is really a key part of this system and systems in the district. It is, one of the key mineral vectors that we're seeing is that hypergene chalcocite.
Okay, and the next question comes from Mark Kinsley. Can you provide an update on offtake discussions mentioned in the quarterly, which suggested completion during July?
Yes, thanks, Mark, for your question. We've obviously announced our offtake with copper sulfate. In terms of the concentrate and toll milling, we're very, very advanced in those discussions. However, they have the terms have been agreed in principle, but we're yet to those documents are yet to be signed. So as soon as they're signed, we'll be announcing that to market.
Okay, thank you, Marty. And that wraps up all of the questions which have come through. So I will now hand back to you, Marty, for any closing remarks which you might have.
Look, I just wanted to say thank you to everyone for their time this morning. You know, True North, we believe True North is something quite unique and special. We're located in Tier 1 copper jurisdiction of Australia. We have got a really strong production story and a super exciting exploration story. In fact, we believe our current share price doesn't really factor into that exploration project that we have. So we can't wait to take you on the journey and really look forward to providing future results and news going forward about not only our production, but this very exciting discovery and development project. So thanks for everyone's time this morning. And thanks, Ben.
Thank you.